In this video, I'm going to show you how learning a language can improve your tennis game. So stay tuned to find out how. So you're probably asking yourself, how is learning a language going to help me with my tennis game? And why is this important to me? Well, I'm going to explain in 1 second, but you got to bear with me because I'm going to share a little bit of a story with you. Recently, I've been trying to learn Japanese, and at first I found it very difficult. And I'm not fluent or anything, but I'm slowly getting better and better. And to learn Japanese, I started watching some other YouTube videos, and I ran across a video where a guy was talking about how you can learn any language in 30 days. And he shared some of the key principles about language learning. And when I listened to these key principles, I went, wow, these are great principles for improving your tennis game. And I think this will cut down a lot of stress and struggle that a lot of people have when they're starting out playing tennis, and even as they learn and grow through their tennis game. So one of the principles he had was to learn a language, you have to first learn to communicate and be more concerned about communication than about grammar. So what does this mean? You know, when I've tried to learn a language in the past, like Spanish, you get caught up in, saying everything perfect and having the subjunctive adjectives and everything in the right place. And I spent probably about 2 or 3 years trying to learn Spanish. Even with my mom being Spanish, it was just too hard. And then I spent some time living in Spain, and amazing enough, in 2 months I picked up more Spanish than I learned in 4 years of school. And what happened was I realized, looking back now, that I was more concerned about communicating and not about grammar. So you're probably thinking about, what does this have to do with my tennis game? Well, I think in the beginning, and a lot of times when people are trying to learn tennis, they focus too much on every little technical thing, and it keeps them from communicating. And what is communicating in tennis? It's just learning to play, getting the ball back and forth over and over again. At some extent, you might say a pusher can communicate really, really well in a tennis language because they get the ball to go back and forth over and over again. But taking it to the next level is learning how to add the grammar in, which was the second key principle he talked about. Once you learn how to communicate, and it's fun because you can actually play with somebody or talk to somebody and communicate, you learn, and it's more fun to add in the grammar now. So how does that relate to a tennis, you learning tennis, or if you're learning tennis from the beginning? First, guys, go out and learn just to get the ball back and forth. After you get pretty good at that, and that may look like a pusher stage, then you go back and you learn the technique and you learn how to hit the ball harder with more spin, more consistency, and you accelerate your tennis game in a much faster method because you know the base of tennis is getting the ball back and forth and being able to communicate. And then after you've got that communication down, you start working on the skills of grammar. And so as I've realized this, and I've started teaching people this way, I've seen a huge, huge jump in their game much faster because they always have this base of communication. And I don't get so caught up in every technical thing because in the end, it's not how pretty your forehand looks, as if the forehand goes in the court and it forces your opponent to make a mistake, or just gets in the court so they have an opportunity to make a mistake. So the key for you is to realize communication is important and grammar is equally important, but it needs to come second after you learn how to do this. So I don't want this to turn into a rant video, but I want you to realize as you're watching different YouTubes, as you're watching my YouTube, always remember, no matter what anyone else is showing you, technique-wise or something, you got to get the ball in. You got to communicate. And then after you learn how to do that, add in better grammar and become a much better tennis player. So I hope this makes sense to you. And if you have any comments or questions, please leave it below on my blog. Make sure you check out my new site at TotalTennisDomination.com and play tough.